Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. For those of you who are new here, Sat Chat could be about anything. It could be art and craft related, it could be completely off the wall and not. So if this is the first video you're tuning into on the Frugal Crafter channel, well, I don't know. I'd like to say this isn't what you typically get, but you know, there's a certain element of randomness that is in every video. So I don't know. Enjoy, welcome. If it's not for you, totally understand. So this week, it is Friday. It's actually Friday. I was going to say morning, but it's not. It's 12:38. Earlier than I usually film these, because I usually film these at the end of the day on Friday. But I've got an appointment this afternoon, so I just wanted to get it done early because last week I was filming it pretty late, and I was pretty tired, and I almost didn't, but I had to also get some headshots done for a company, so I'm like, well, I've got to do the hair and makeup anyway, so might as well. Speaking of hair, my hair is so like, I use this hairspray and it said it was flexible hold, like it's supposed to be like the lowest it can be, and my hair is so sticky and stiff that, and the hairspray smelled so bad. It was from the Dollar Tree, so I mean, you know, fine quality product there. But the ironic thing is this flexible hold, low hold hairspray from the Dollar Tree is like super stiff and sticky. And I bought their spray adhesive for like some craft projects, and it didn't hold at all. I just threw it away because it didn't even hold at all. So I'm thinking that somewhere in the Dollar Tree factory, they got the hairspray and the spray adhesive for the craft department mixed up into the wrong cans, because my hair feels like, I don't know, it feels like trying to run my hands through like a pot scrubber or something. It's so sticky. But I put a hairspray in because it's raining today. We've actually had a gorgeous week. It's raining today, and I'm going to take my son over to renew his passport, because when he got his passport, he was a minor. He was under 16, so you have to go in and do it like you would a new passport. You can't just renew it by mail. And so I'm going to go help him do that, and he's upstairs filling out the paperwork right now. So yeah, fingers crossed everything goes well. I have like more than enough documentation. I think you just need to bring the passport and that's it, but I'm also bringing birth certificate and copies of everything, driver's license and all that jazz, just because I'm paranoid. But I don't want to get all the way out there and then not have what I need. Plus, you know, he doesn't live at home anymore, so, you know, he had to drive up on his day off to do this, so I just want to make sure it all gets done, and then I'm gonna have to get the girls' passports renewed too. Usually I go to the library, but the library was closed for like a training today, so I have to go to the post office, and I don't know what it is, but like going into like big buildings, like, this probably sounds crazy, but like going into like big post office, big government buildings, it just kind of like gives me a little anxiety. It's like, it's one of those, I have this list of weird things that kind of like crank up the anxiety level. One is like going to a different gas station. I don't like to go to strange gas stations. I have like 3 gas stations I go to, depending on where I'm traveling. I don't know why. I don't like to go to weird different gas stations, unless it's full service and I can give them cash. But like if I have to pay with a credit card or a debit card, gas day. I think I've watched too many stories on the news about like credit card information being stolen from like gas pumps. So there's one. Big government buildings, anything involving forms, and anything involving forms having to do with taxes. So yeah, and I just ordered my my tax forms for this upcoming filing season. So yeah, it's been all this week. I've been like nailing out the details with the trip my daughters and I are going on, a senior trip in April, and I finally decided to, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I've been on the fence. I've been hemming and hawing, and I tend to be very nervous, like a nervous traveler. I don't really enjoy traveling. And then it's like, well, do you get insurance? And what insurance do you get? Do you get a voucher? Do you get cash back? Will the plane tickets be included in this trip? You know, it's just so many different like little variables, and it's like, I don't know what to choose. There's too many options. But I think I've decided I'm gonna make my down payments, and then just then I'll commit, because otherwise you're out that money. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna commit. So hopefully there'll be no hopefully things will have settled down. Everything traveling wise will be good, and everything will go fine. We're all vaccinated, so, and hopefully if we need like a booster by then, they'll be available. You know, you just can't live your life waiting and in fear, especially this year, because the kids are going to be gone. You know, Jack graduated high school last year. He's working full time. The girls will be going off to college next year. It's their senior year, and I'm just tired of always being afraid. And hopefully this will help push me out of it. So if you're new, sometimes you get a little mini psychology session, which I am not qualified to give. Disclaimer. But there you are. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about in Sat Chat this week, because I just dropped a podcast episode on this topic. If you want to check it out, it's on the, if you go to anchor.fm/Lindsay Weirich, you will see it, or in the video description, I always have a link to the podcast. What I wanted to talk about was, is it important that our artwork lasts 100 years? Is it, I mean, there's been, I kind of feel like we're getting real precious about our artwork lasting and archivability. And yeah, I think it's important to especially if you're going to sell something for a lot of money, that you do your best to be working on archival surfaces using light-fast paints. But then again, you have to keep in mind that if the client doesn't protect the artwork when it's in their care, then it still could deteriorate. But anyway, that's not so much what I'm talking about in this podcast. More of is the fact that we're so worried about things being archival and lasting for hundreds and hundreds of years. Is that distracting us, or is that a way of us procrastinating actually creating artwork? We get so precious about it, but it's like, if we're not, and we fear to just enjoy the process and the exploration and the trying new things that may work or may not work. I think part of this is like social media and this like constant consumption of artwork. Like if you are active on, say, Instagram, you are expected to post several new works a week. I'm doing Inktober, so I'm posting something every day, which is kind of great because it's like, I can't be too precious because, you know, I gotta put something up today. I can't fuss and think about it too much. And then if it's a flop, I got a do over tomorrow. So I kind of like that. But on the other hand, it's like if you are, if you're so focused on that end result being posted and not so much the process of enjoying the artwork and learning something from the artwork, then you're really going to be limiting your growth. And fussing about pigment numbers and archivability and all of that, while important, if but you know, honestly, you could pick 9 colors. You could pick 100% cotton watercolor paper. You're going to be light fast. You're going to be fine. You're going to be archival. You don't have to put that much thought into it. I think a lot of times this thought that we put into pigment number research and all this minutia of it is actually procrastinating creating art. That's what I think. I'm guilty of it. I never accuse anybody else of anything unless I'm guilty of it myself, because you point the finger, you got 3 pointing back at you. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not like judging anybody. I mean, I've got a friend who does beautiful colored pencil work, and she sells her work for thousands of dollars. And yeah, it's important that her work doesn't fade and that it stays, that the surfaces are archival and everything is going to be preserved, because she would have to go good for that. She'd have to repaint something. But I think, like, for a schmo like me that's working in a sketchbook, does it matter if I'm painting with salt water and in 100 years it might start to deteriorate? Probably not. I certainly won't care after I'm dead and gone. You know, I don't sell my work for a lot of money. My work is fairly inexpensive. It's under $100 usually. And in terms of art, that's almost embarrassingly cheap. I shouldn't be selling my work for that. Like, if you want to go by, you know, standards, best practices, all of that. But I don't often sell original work. So, I mean, I don't think somebody's buying something for $50 and expecting, I mean, especially when you can go to Target and buy a piece of artwork for $50. It's a print or it's painted in a factory in, you know, a developing country where, you know, it's like they're making thousands of identical pieces. You're paying about the same price for that. You're not expecting that Target painting or that TJ Maxx painting to last 50 years. You're gonna probably switch it out in a couple of years when you're sick of it, or even sooner. So not that I want to make disposable work, that's not the intention, but I would rather spend my energy exploring and enjoying the work. And that's why I paint in sketchbooks more often than anything nowadays, because it's like, if it's in my sketchbook, I don't sell it. And if it's in my sketchbook, I can do whatever the heck I want. I'm not going to worry about it. So I don't know. That's the topic of that podcast. If you want to check it out. It was a lot of fun. So if you are an astute follower of the Frugal Crafter YouTube channel, you probably noticed that there weren't a lot of videos this week. I posted, well, there was last week's Sat Chat, and then there was Sketchbook Sunday, which was the crow painting back there. That's, I painted with salt water, then for the beautiful granulation effect, and that's kind of what, it was a comment in Critique Club that kind of led me down that rabbit hole of thinking about archivability and everything. And, where was I going with that? Oh, and so I didn't have a video Monday. Monday was a holiday in the United States. I guess not all of the United States celebrates it. We have Indigenous Peoples Day in Maine. It was formerly Columbus Day. In Canada, they have Thanksgiving. So I think it's kind of nice that we have a holiday that is at the same time as Canadian Thanksgiving, especially in Maine, where we have a lot of people with family in Canada and they travel back to visit on Thanksgiving, and having that long, on their Thanksgiving and having a long weekend, I think is really nice that lines up. But I guess in other parts of the country, they don't necessarily celebrate it. It is a federal holiday, so there's no mail. I don't think there's mail anywhere in the country. But you might get like FedEx or UPS. I'm not sure. I didn't have any packages delivered, but I decided to take the day off because, again, the kids were home, and I know there's going to be so few of those days where the girls are around, because, I mean, as it is, they are at school because they're back in school this year. There's no remote, which is, I think it's good. I mean, although I miss having them around all the time, I think it's good for them to have that socialness, even though they have to be masked. They're still around their peers, and I think that's a good thing. And, you know, there's been games. They've been able to go to field hockey and football games and stuff like that. It's a little bit more normal, and I'm thankful for that. But it means they're homeless, and like the play is going on. I'm so excited that they're going to have their school play. So they've been at rehearsal every night, and so yeah, I try to get dinner down on the table so we're all together having dinner most nights. But yeah, it's crazy. And then all the college research. I got one kid narrowed it down to 20 colleges, and the other one's narrowed it down to 10. So, man, I was just thinking, boy, I'm feeling a little anxious, feeling a little like my tummy's feeling a little squirrely and anxious. And yeah, that's probably a good contributor to it, that and having to go into a big scary post office in the city. I never go to the city post office. I always go to the little post office in my town. It has like, it's open for 4 hours every weekday. And you may or may not get to mail something depending on who's working. I remember going in there with packages. I went in with a package at like, they're open from like 1 to 4 or 1 to 4:45. Maybe it's 12:45 to 1:45. It's very weird hours. It's in the afternoon. And I remember going there with a package to mail, and it was like 4:30, and she's like, nope. I'm like, seriously, you got 15? Nope, not doing it. Come back tomorrow between 1:45. But that's just a little quirk of living in small town Maine. But I like it because it's small, and there's not a lot of people, and I don't know. I used to get really overwhelmed. I'm better than I used to be. I used to get really overwhelmed when I go into Walmart. I wouldn't be able to go like into the Walmart in Brewer, because it was like I don't know, just like how the shelves are just so tall, and it used to really freak me out. Of course, I was always very afraid when my kids were little that they would get kidnapped, and where I had 3 kids, I was like, what if one toddles off and I only have 2 arms and like a kidnapper grabs that kid? I was just like, yeah, a neurotic mess. Now I'm less of a neurotic mess, but still a little bit. If I get through this year, good, I think I'll be smooth sailing. We'll see. The girls had their last ever pediatric well child visit this week, which was kind of a little bittersweet. I was kind of like, oh, wow, this is so crazy. And actually the pediatrician is moving practices, so it was good timing because we didn't have to like find a new doctor or anything. Well, I mean, you'd have to find a new doctor because they're too old for a pediatrician after the end of the school year, but yeah, I was like, well, thank you for holding off until my kids were through the practice. I appreciate that. And she's like, yes, I did it just for you. Don't tell the other families. I couldn't inflict another doctor on with your level of neurosis of a parent. I couldn't in good conscience. That's probably what she was thinking. I don't know. I always wonder that. I'm like, do they think I'm neurotic? I'm sure you guys do, but hey, you know, we're friends, right? We're friends here. What else? So I had a watercolor tutorial on Wednesday, and actually, so I had to get the girls to their appointments in the afternoon, and so I know I had a short window of time, not really that short of a window of time. I had the morning to work. I had about 3 hours in my studio to work, and so I, hit that first thing. I'm like, I'm gonna get that watercolor tutorial done, and it did not go well. And you know what they say? If first you don't succeed, you shouldn't take up skydiving. But actually, first you don't succeed, try again. With art, you don't risk plummeting to your death. So so this was a successful one. It started off with a watercolor background, and then I used alcohol markers. Actually, this is cotton watercolor paper, so not really advised, but I used a chisel end of watercolor markers so they wouldn't be sucked dry, because I thought I could get some nice blocky buildings. Worked out really well. Then I did some doodling with fine liner, pastel pens. I did some pastel pencil. Oh, I did some pastel in the sky, some pastel pencil. That stuff was done. The mixed media stuff was done after the video. I just did the atmospheric background on the video. And I sketched the birds on with pastel, pastel pencil, and then I went over with the ink pen, like a water brush filled pen, to kind of crisp it up, and I love the way it came out. It was a lot of fun, and I love the doodleness of it. I love just the experimentation of it. That's what I'm talking about, the experimentation. But when I was trying to do the whole thing on camera, this is the disaster that I ended up with. And yeah, I was like, oh, I'll do birds on a wire. Needed something, I'll do birds on a wire. It did not come out well, and I was very upset with myself that I'm like, I don't have time to do it over. Except I'm like, you know what, if I just did the background, if I didn't do the stuff on top of it, I like the background all right, that's teachable. I think people can learn from that, and then whatever I do after that, after the camera's rolling, I can just relax, experiment, and make it work. And that was fun, because that's how I did that. That's how that went. I actually really love the sky on that, but the birds not so much. Anyway, I did the technique where you wet the back and the front of the paper, and I love that it just keeps it like perfectly flat when you do that. And you don't have to stretch anything. It like stretches itself, and it just maintains this equilibrium as you're painting, and you can just leave it on the board to dry. Walk away, set it and forget it, as Ron Ronco would say, and then you come back and you've got dry paper. So if any of you new people still here, probably not, I can't imagine. Oh, so the other thing that I had to get ready this week that was not for YouTube, will eventually be on YouTube on the Micheals YouTube channel, is my November project for Durant, and it was holiday themed and like holiday gift theme. It doesn't have to be Christmas, but I celebrate Christmas, so I thought it would be fun to do a Christmas project, because then it's something I could have useful too. And so I took wood slices and I made these. It can either be coasters or ornaments. I'm just going to turn that down. I think you could see it better. There's a little bit of shine because I did this with color pencils, and I use color soft pencils because they're really pigmented and soft, and you can get stuff done quick. And I have an hour. I have an hour 15 max. So this is my favorite coaster. It's the poinsettia. And you can seal these with some acrylic sealer, and it won't bother your pencil underneath. If you want to. That's mistletoe. I thought that was kind of cute, and it fills the circle really well. And then there's just an easy wreath, and this is probably what we'll start off with, and then go to the mistletoe and poinsettia. I didn't know if we were able to finish all three in an hour. However, the poinsettia is so repetitive that all the leaves are done the same. The red leaves are done one way, the green are done another way, so that can definitely be started and finished off on your own time. And I actually did these two in the course of an hour, and that was with drawing it and everything, and I have a pattern for it, so nobody will have to draw it. They can transfer it on before class, and that's going to save some time too. And plus, I always notice I'm faster when I do something second time around. And that's a great thing about Micheals will put the replay on their YouTube channel, so you can watch it later. The only thing I don't like about the replay is that it's filmed through Zoom, so live on Zoom, actually the video quality is really crisp, but for some reason the recording of it is always kind of like is not as high def, it's not as crisp, it's like almost pixelated. So if you can join live, that would be best. It'll be on November 16th, and I don't think I sent them all the information yesterday afternoon, so if they have it up on their website, if they have the listing up by the time this goes up, I will put it in the video description. If not, I'll try to remember to add it later, or I'll have it next week's Sat Chat, because it is getting pretty close. Usually they like to have them up a month in advance, so this would be like a month before the class. And I'm excited for that, so hopefully it'll be a good turnout. And they have me back for January. And yeah, I don't know, this is kind of like a mix between a fine art and a craft, because you are using the supplies in an artistic way, but it's like the end product is kind of a craft. Like, this would be such a cute ornament, and like put it as a gift tag on a present, especially if you like to do commemorative ornaments every year. Like you could just write a year on the back, maybe with some fancy lettering. You could also rubber stamp on these and do the same technique if you didn't want to transfer and fine line it. So there's just a lot of options here, and I think they're really cute. And how cute would that be on a Christmas tree, or even as a gift tag, or even as a coaster? Either way, I think it's cute. If you wanted to make a set of 4, they'd be great coasters. Or whatever. I think they're pretty. I think that'd be really cute. I love to wrap presents in like the brown craft paper, and then just do like jute, or just some simple ribbon or some plaid ribbon or something, and then take a piece of jute and put like something like this, an ornament on there. So then and that ornament can be personalized. It could be like you could even put the person's name on it with the year, and then you know, you could sign it so that they'll remember who made it, like in 25 years when they're decorating their tree and they see that and they put it up. I think that's kind of nice. You can also decoupage a photo on the back if it's like baby's first Christmas or something like that. I love the idea of ornaments. I don't feel like I have many good ideas for ornaments, so when I come up with something that I like, I'm usually pretty excited about it. Yeah, so that was the only video I had was that watercolor, and I have not filmed a sketchbook Sunday for tomorrow. But I'll have my Inktober drawing for, because it's Friday today actually, so for Sunday, I mean, I'll have, you know, 2 Inktobers. I could film one of them and post that. Or maybe nothing, I don't know. I'm trying to like, I'm trying to be better about deciding what is must do and what is just nice to do. Because sometimes you get kind of stuck in this treadmill of I'm doing these things because I've always done them, and not necessarily because they're worthwhile or anybody wants to watch them, or because if I'm just doing something because I've already done it but people aren't interested in it, then there's really no point in me doing it. And if that doing that and taking the time to do that is taking me away from other things that people would be more interested in, that's kind of a waste. So I'm trying to be a little more analytical and a little more honest with myself about what is worthwhile and what isn't. Because this channel is a business, I do enjoy it, but it is a business, so I want to do things that are worthwhile. Or if I decide that, yeah, it'd be worthwhile, but I'm not interested in doing it, you know, maybe just find something different, I don't know. I did recolor my hair. It's just so sticky. Oh, I don't even know if it looks right. I can't really tell with the tiny little, the tiny little monitor thing. I like the color, and I use the hot rollers again. I let them heat up plenty of time today. I regret the hairspray. I regret the hairspray. Maybe I should go see if that will work in the because when I'm doing like projects where I need to spray adhesive and do like big messy things, I do in the room of hoard. Remember the old craft area. I might see if it's actually a good glue, because I cannot believe that this is stage 1 hairspray, like level 1 soft. It's not soft. It's very sticky. Maybe it'd be a really good fixative. I should do a little test on something and then see if it turns my paper yellow, because it might just be a fantastic fixative. The other thing though, it's like gale force winds when you go spray that thing. It's like, it like knocks you over. It's like this crazy like amount of power. I feel like it's the wrong product. I feel like it's the wrong label on there. Something went awry in the Salon Selectives factory, because that's the brand that it is, but man, it's a little much. It's just overly powerful. I don't know, maybe like maybe they didn't mix it up right, and like there's somebody out there with like a hairspray that's just water, and then I've got like all the adhesive in mine. I don't know. And it doesn't smell nice. It doesn't smell like, I bought Salon Selectives hairspray before and it smells lovely, and this does not smell lovely. It smells strange. Luckily my hair's short and it's not like flying in my face because it smells weird. Thank goodness it's not smell-o-vision, right? So on a week where I really haven't created much art, I don't have much artistic to talk about in Sat Chat. Oh, I did take the paddleboard out was it Saturday or Sunday? In the weekend. I think it was Sunday. I posted a reel on Instagram, because that's what Instagram tells us we need to do for them to show our stuff to anybody. We've got to post some reels every once in a while. So I thought, well, this is a good reason to do a reel. So I bring my paddleboard down to the Sadunkajunk Fishway where I like to put in, and there were cars everywhere, which I'm like, I was very offended, because usually I just pull right up and I'm the only person here. Well, what is this? What are these people doing in my private boat launch? So like, well, this is weird. And I had the pickup truck, so it's huge. So I found a place to park, and I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what. So anyways, I put my paddleboard in, and I'm paddling along, and apparently there's a canoe race going on and going the opposite direction. And it's like, and I think they must be coming over from Fields Pond, because like there are these people, they are cooking. I didn't know what the group was. A lot of older men, and they're just like, they are just going to beat the band in their canoes. They're just flying. So I'm like, story of my life, wrong way in a canoe race on a paddleboard. That's just the perfect. It's like the perfect analogy for my life. I'm going in the wrong direction, too slow, in the middle of a race. But that didn't last too long, and so I paddled out into the, and it's a very windy path that you can canoe or kayak or paddle on. It's not very deep, Maybe the deepest area might be like, I don't know, I stuck my paddle in at one point just to see if I was going to touch ground because it's very reedy. And it was actually a little bit wider than normal because we've gotten a lot of rain recently. And I couldn't touch the bottom at that point, but it is very shallow, which is great. It's really easy to paddle, very easy to kayak because you don't get a lot of drag and resistance, except when you are off this to the side, so you don't get creamed by some kayakers and some fast canoers going by, and you get a bunch of reeds stuck on your fins. It's pretty easy paddling, and I took some video. Because it was so pretty. It was like peak foliage. Peak foliage was this week, and just gorgeous. So if you want to see some Maine on the water foliage, check that out on my Instagram. Link is in the video description, and you can go to, if you're on a computer, you can click that link and see like all my Inktober posts, all my World Watercolor Month posts, all that stuff from your computer. I don't know if you can on the phone without having the app installed, but you can on the computer. It's free, you know, check it out. So if you want to see some Maine foliage. So then I was going back, and I pull my paddleboard out of the water, and there are leeches stuck to the bottom of it. And let me tell you, was I grossed out, because now I need to pick this thing up and get it in the truck. And of course, I don't want to bring a bunch of leeches with me. For one thing, I don't want them to just dry out in the sun and die. That's mean. But also, I don't want to get leeches on me because that's gross. And I can't find a stick or anything. So I found a leech. I'm trying to like pick the leeches. Okay, there are 3 leeches. It wasn't like it was covered. It wasn't like Stand By Me leeches or anything. So I'm like trying to use a leaf to like brush the leeches off. They are stuck. They think they are getting a meal or something from this paddleboard. I can't imagine why. So I'm like trying to like gently take them off the paddleboard with a leaf, and they are not moving, so I had to use a rock, and I was gentle, but I don't know. I felt bad, but I'm like, well, it's either you take your chances here, leeches, because if you're in the back of a pickup truck, I am certainly not going to be touching that paddleboard for days if I know there are leeches on it. So you should just jump off here, go back to the pond, because you will die a slow and agonizing death in the back of the pickup truck. I don't want that. I want to have little contact with leeches. I will leave you alone. You will leave me alone. But anyways, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe leeches would like latch on to plastic. You learn something new every day, friends. And with that, I think that brings us to the end of this Sat Chat. I'm gonna go check on my son's progress with his paperwork for the passport renewal. And because you gotta do like the brand new you have to do like the same paperwork you would for a new one, because he was under 16 when he got his original one. And then I'll know what I'll have in store for me for when the girls need theirs done, which is I gotta get those done right away as well. But anyway, you know what? And I can feel the anxiety when I talk about forms. It's funny. I don't know. I gotta get over it. And I'm just plowing through. That's face your fears, right? Face your fears. Face your form fears and your flying fears and all your other fears. That's it for today, guys. Link to the podcast in the video description. Hopefully there'll be a link to the drawing class, and I'll put a link to the sketchy class that I talked about last week. It is available. I got a discount code for you. I'll put that all in the video description too, so you can check that out if you want to. It's a pretty inexpensive class too, so, and there's a lot of different teachers, a lot of different content, so be a good way to spend some time. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.